This video will show you how to replace the outside rear view mirror on a Mazda 3. This will be mounted to your front door. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Make your way along the inside of the door panel. We're looking down inside the grab handle. In this area, you're going to find a protective panel that we can easily remove using a small angled pick. For this, just make your way under it, pull it up and out of place. Now we can start removing the window switch. It has some locking tabs. We're going to start prying from this side and pull it up and away from this side, which has a tab, making its way underneath the door panel. For this, I'm just using a small angled pick, something small enough to make its way underneath this area. Obviously, I don't want to cause any damage to anything. Now that you can tell that this is lifting up and out of position, I'm rolling it out, and you can see that little plastic tab. We'll rotate this far enough that we can gain access to our electrical connectors next. Now to dislodge these electrical connectors, they do have a locking tab. You want to squeeze it in and pull this up and out of place. Every time you disconnect an electrical connector, a quick peek to confirm there's no corrosion as you continue on. Quick inspection, set that aside. Now we have that switch out of the way. We're making our way down inside the grab handle one more time. Look deep in this area. You're going to find a Phillips head screw. Go ahead and remove it. A thorough inspection of all hardware as we continue on, replace as necessary. Now we're making our way up towards the inside door handle. Now, if you were looking past this, just a little bit further inboard, you're going to find another plastic trim panel. Let's remove that using an angled pick. We'll pull on the door handle, make our way behind that panel, and pull it out of place. That exposes our next Phillips head mounting screw. We'll remove that. The next thing we have to do is start dislodging the door panel. Keep in mind, as we start dislodging it, you do still have cables leading to the inside door handle. We don't want to cause any damage. Now, as far as dislodging the door panel, make your way along the bottom of the door panel itself. You're going to find a very small groove that you could carefully make your way in between with either your fingers or a trim tool if necessary, and we're going to separate the door panel from the door itself. I'm just pressing on the door with my foot, holding it while I continue on, gently tugging on the door panel. Now we can have a look at where our cables go into the door handle. We don't have to separate the cables from the handle itself. We can separate the handle from the door panel. Go ahead and take hold of it. We're going to give it a little wiggle here and start sliding it out and away. We can set that door panel aside. Now that we have the door panel out of the way, let's have a look at this area. We're going to dislodge this plastic panel. Looking at it, you can see that there's two triangles. This is the area that we're going to gently pry. I'm using a trim tool. Let's make our way under this area. We're going to take the trim tool and press it in as far as possible. There's a locking tab here, and there's another one right where each one of these triangles is. There we are, that one's starting to separate. Now we'll pull the wiring out through that slot. You can see our locking tabs. Go ahead and set that aside. Now with that panel out of there, we'll continue on with our mirror wiring harness. We can see the electrical connector here. We'll get to removing that. But follow that wiring harness. As you look inside this triangular port, you're going to find that you have your window channel making its way up and down. That wiring harness needs to go out and around the outside of the window channel, not on the inboard side where it could get caught on the window and potentially damaged. As far as this electrical connector, I'm going to use my angled pick, come down inside this area for my locking tab, and pull this up and out of place. Now for this part, we want to be extremely careful because we're going to have to carefully make our way inside of this port of the door. It's a fairly small port. We want the wiring harness over towards the outer aspect of the door itself, so when we start dislodging the hardware for the mirror, we can easily slide this out of place. Now, continuing inside this port, there's 3 10mm mounting bolts holding the mirror in place. There's also one push tab, but that push tab essentially just holds the mirror temporarily in there as we continue on. One thing I always like to do is fully remove my first bolt. I'm just going to give it a quick inspection and start it back in just a couple threads. Now you want to be careful not to drop your hardware inside the door. If you do, it's not too big of a deal. You can remove the speaker to gain access down inside of the door. Now we've inspected our mounting bolts. As I mentioned, I'm just going to start it back in a couple threads as I continue on. We'll fully remove all other hardware. Now our next mounting bolt is over in this corner. Now I'm holding onto the mirror. I'll reach inside, remove that final piece of hardware, and we'll carefully start pulling the mirror out. Keep in mind we do have a wiring harness inside of this area that we'll have to carefully remove from the door itself. Okay, that's just that small locking tab. We're not worried about that. And there's our mirror. Prior to installation, we're going to clean the mounting point. For this, I'm just using some glass cleaner directly on a clean rag. A thorough inspection to confirm nothing's rotted or weak. Let's continue on with our installation. Now it's time for installation of our mirror. For this, we're going to be starting with our electrical connector and wiring harness. We'll take that and slide it through the port in the door, leading inward. Now, as we continue pressing this towards the door, we're going to be aligning the mirror mounting points with the door itself, while holding this firmly against the door. We're on the inboard side of the door with our mounting hardware next. I've got my mounting bolt on my socket with an extension. That's going to make it a little easier for me here. And as I mentioned, if I do happen to drop this, we'll just remove the speaker to gain access and remove it. Now for this first piece of mounting hardware, I'm only going to lightly snug it, but I do want to be able to move the mirror around for the next 2 pieces of hardware. Since I did my lower bolt, I'll continue on to the upper mounting bolt here. Once they're all started in, snug them up, and then I'm going to torque these to 80 inch-pounds. We'll continue on with our wiring harness next. As you remember during the removal process, the wiring harness needs to be on the proper side of your window channel. The window channel goes up and down here. You can see it on the inside. We'll make sure that wiring harness goes along the outside of the door, along the forward side of the window channel, and then along this side of the window channel so we can have it come out this port. It cannot be in the area where the window goes up and down. This is extremely important. Oh yeah, that worked perfect. Pull this. Now we just need enough slack to make our way down to this area. We'll align the locking tab and press this down and into position. Listen for an audible click and a light tug. Now you need to take a peek inside this area. You're double checking to confirm you're on the proper side of the window channel, going all the way around it along the outboard side. We have our protective plastic panel. Looking at this area, we can see exactly where the wiring harness needs to sit. Line it up, press it in, listen for your 2 locking tabs. There we are. Make sure it's secured all the way around and the wiring is not getting damaged in any way. One last quick inspection in this area and let's prepare to install our door panel. As we start bringing this into position, we're going to have to first focus on the inside door handle. Now we're looking along the inboard side of the panel. We're going to take the door handle and slide it through this port. Now this should want to rest in position and we'll roll it up against the door panel. While we have that held on, we'll continue on by bringing the door panel up and over the door so we can get this in position. Now the next thing we'll do, reach inside this port so we can take hold of our wiring harnesses. We don't want it tucked in there in an area that we can't gain access. We're going to align all of our push pins with the ports on the door itself. Lightly tap this door panel in position and of course make sure it's secured. And right up in this area here, just a couple taps. I've got my mounting screw directly on my Phillips head. We'll get this in position here. Start it in, snug it up. Install your protective panel. Now, as far as this panel is concerned, you just want to have a quick peek along the back side. We can see all of our locating tabs. To install this, I'm going to pull on the inside handle. We'll line this up and press it in. Listen for an audible click all the way around. Just double check, make sure it's secured. You don't want it rattling around. Let's continue down in this area. Let's install the window switch panel here. We have the areas for our wire connectors. We just want to line those up. Audible click, a light tug. Let's get this next one. Now we're going to align this with its mounting point here. Take your time. We want to roll it in the upper portion first. This is going to go underneath the door panel. We're just coming in at an angle. We'll press this down. There we are. We're listening for an audible click all the way around. Make sure it's secured in place. In the grab handle area here, we have the spot for our next Phillips head screw. Make sure that's tight. This panel just rests in place. Okay, friend, we finished the installation of our mirror switch. Now, the next thing that we always need to do is test the functionality. We're going to set the mirror to our specifications. Key in the on position, we're switching to the left side mirror, which is what we replaced, and you should be able to function that switch and notice that the mirror moves as well. Set it to your preferences and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.